In mathematics, a lot of the time we'll be given a formula, something like, for a straight line, for instance, y equals 3x plus 4, or the circumference of a circle equals 2 pi r, or a, the area of the circle, equals pi r squared. We say that in this case y is the subject of the formula, c is the subject of the formula here, and a is the subject of the formula here. But I might want to rearrange these formula to write them in terms of x, for instance, for this one as the subject of the formula. So ultimately I want to get to something like x equals. I want to make x the subject of a formula. That is also true for this. So I'm going to take and rearrange this. The first step I'll do is I'll make sure that I've got my x and everything associated with it on the left hand side. Okay. Now from here, if I take 4 off each side, the same way as if I was solving an equation, I'll be able to come up with this 3x equals y minus 4. And then if I divide both sides by 3, I'll just have my x. So x will be y minus 4 all over 3. What I'm thinking of doing is rearranging it, taking it back step by step. The last thing that was done here was adding the 4, so I take off the 4. The last thing that was done here to the x was multiplying by 3, so I divide by 3. Same as solving a linear equation in this case. For the second one, c equals 2 pi r, I want to write that as r equals. So first up, I'll write it as 2 pi r equals c, just making sure my r's on the left hand side so that when I get rid of everything else on the left hand side, I've just got my r left. Now, if I start with r and multiply it by 2 pi, I get c. So if I divide both sides here, that must also be true. And 2 pi over 2 pi, the 2's will cancel, 2 divided by 2 cancels, and my pi's cancel, and I'm simply left with r equals c over 2 pi. When we've got two things multiplied before the r, we can divide by them both at once effectively. This last one, a equals pi r squared, is a little bit trickier. So again, I'll flip it around. Pi r squared equals a. Now, the last thing that was done here was to multiply r squared by pi, so I'm going to divide both sides by pi to get r squared as pi a on pi. Now, to undo squaring, the opposite is to take the square root of r squared, and that's just r. If I take the square root of this left hand side, I also need to take the square root of the right hand side. So r is the square root of a divided by pi. A divided by pi, and then take the square root of it. So just like solving a linear equation, if that was 7 for instance for y, I'd do my rearranging. All I'm doing is rearranging the formula to make a specific thing the subject. X in this case, r in this case, and r again in this case.